Hi friends, we're talking all about boosting our immune system today with what? With food, of course. And so Shayna and I have lots of good recipes to share with you about how to do that and what foods to use. And not only what foods to use, but what recipes to make from them. So I'm gonna start off with a recipe that's a salmon recipe. We all love salmon. We eat it all the time. I wanna show you how to make it quick and easy and a little bit different. This is a Sriracha salmon with spring squash noodles. So let me show you how fast and easy it is to put together, even though it has 3 parts to it. So, first of all, we've got our beautiful salmon and a marinade. So in this bag right here, I've got salmon and a marinade. Now this marinade, you can use it for about 3 pounds of salmon, and don't be afraid to buy frozen salmon. Frozen salmon is frozen most often right on the boat, and you always want to get, for salmon, you want to get your wild caught salmon. And you know, I found this at Costco and it was beautiful. So about 3 pounds, 5 to 6 ounce fillets. Now let me tell you about the marinade. And I went ahead and put a couple fillets already into the bag because I wanted to get it marinating. I marinate the fish for about 20 to 30 minutes just on the countertop. So in the marinade, I have sriracha, I have light soy sauce, Bragg's amino acids, or Tamari, your choice. I have some honey. I have some black or toasted sesame oil. This is black sesame oil. I like the black or the toasted sesame oil better because it has more flavor. And then 2 other things that we love in the healthy kitchen, both garlic and ginger. And so those are the ingredients for my marinade. I put my fish fillets in there about 30 minutes, 20 minutes ago. And next up, I'm gonna do my squash noodles. Now I have got some squash noodles here, right here. You can use your spiralizer. You can use a julienne peeler. You can just use a regular peeler and cut the, shave off the noodles just like that. So very few ingredients. I did want to show you my about the size of my squash. You don't want really big squash because bigger squash tends to be seedy, and for this you don't want a lot of seeds. So here I have some boiling water, and then next up I'm going to grab some salt and put in my boiling water. So this is salted boiling water, and not much, just about a teaspoon or so. And then I'm going to put in my squash noodles. And I used a combo of zucchini and yellow squash because they were so pretty. You can use one or the other. So I'm just going to go ahead and put them in. And what I'm looking to do here is not really to cook them particularly. I'm just going to blanch them up. So lots and lots of noodles here. I'll wait and put these in after we finish the video. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is just let it come back up to a boil, and then what I'm gonna do, actually I think I'll put the rest of them in because I'm gonna use this bowl to dress them as well. So here we go, everybody into the pool of boiling water, just a little salt in it, and it won't take long to blanch these noodles. What I'm really looking for is for them to come up to a boil again. If you put your lid, your pot lid back on, it will go faster. So I'm going to grab my pot lid, put that on, and they're going to come up to a boil in just a moment. I love summer squashes, the zucchini, the yellow squash, and now they have all kinds of really fun varieties of both of those. And so I often roast it or grill it. So this is a fun way of doing something different with that summer squash. So I'm gonna set our marinade aside because I've already got our marinade ingredients inside, because I've already got our fish out on the, in the bag on a sheet tray. And I'm gonna grab the fish out of here. Now, like I said, this does make enough marinade, enough sauce, and everything for 3 pounds of fish. I'm just doing a couple just to show you. I'm gonna keep this marinade and throw the rest of the fish in there a little bit later. So let's pretend I've got all 3 pounds in here. I would take my fish out and put them on the sheet tray lined with parchment paper. And then I'm gonna discard this marinade because after you use it for the fish, you don't want to use it again because that's raw fish. There we go. And now I'm going to put this aside and I'm going to grab from over here. Can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this in a 400-degree oven for about 7 to 8 minutes. This fish is not room temperature, it's still cold, and so it might take a little bit longer, but you know, I say the perfect timing is about 7 minutes for salmon, and I call it 7-minute salmon because it'll still be moist on the inside, but it'll be cooked almost through. And look at what a beautiful color this salmon is now that I have put it in the marinade and let it hang out for a little bit. That's the soy sauce and the sesame oil, all those yummy ingredients. So I'm gonna set this aside while I look at my noodles. And yep, they're boiling again. So I'm gonna turn this off and I'm gonna grab my bowl again and I'm gonna put some noodles in my bowl. So these are our squash noodles. I might even grab my strainer and put them in my strainer first. And you know, I could not have a healthy kitchen without some of these plastic strainers and bowls. I buy them at the Asian food store and they're so cheap and they're so helpful because they're super easy to clean. I don't even usually put them in the dishwasher because they're so easy to clean. So here we go. Here's our gorgeous squash noodles. And did you see that giant bowl before of the squash noodles? And now they're gonna end up to be about 1/4 of that. But they're so pretty with all their yellow and green colors. And of course, we want the nutrition of the skin. Shayna would tell you that. But we also love the color of the skin in here because we eat with our eyes first and we want it to be so beautiful. So these noodles are gonna look like spring. So even though this recipe does have the 3 parts, when you do it like I'm doing it, where we marinate the fish first and then cut your or slice your noodles up, all right, that's great right here. I'm gonna put the top back on here. I'm gonna move this over and I'll clean up my little bit of mess there. And now, because I didn't want my squash noodles to be wet, so I've got quite a bit of liquid in the bottom of my strainer bowl. I'm gonna put them right in here, and so easy, y'all, just a couple more ingredients in here. So here are my noodles, and I cut these I slice them up very thinly. If you use just the ribbons of squash, they're gonna take a little longer to cook. But, all right, so now what I have is a couple of teaspoons or a tablespoon of black sesame oil. That's it. A little bit, about 1/2 cup of cilantro. So right in the pool. And then I'm gonna put in some black pepper. And I don't mind the black specks. If you do use white pepper, there's my black pepper. And then I'm gonna put in a little bit of salt here. I don't need much, because remember I salted the water that my squash was in. And all I'm gonna do is move this together and look at those gorgeous squash noodles. We'll be using those in just a moment. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll go ahead and put some of these pretty squash noodles out on my plate here. So really gorgeous little noodles with that pop of cilantro. If you're not a cilantro person, of course you could use parsley. So there's those. And guess what I have for you? Yay! I went ahead and cooked a piece of salmon for us earlier so we didn't have to wait on the salmon. So I'm gonna grab, let's see, I know I have one in here. I'm gonna grab a server here and take my salmon off. So it's gonna go right on there. And then all I have left to do, y'all, is to make my Sriracha sauce. Now, you're thinking to yourself, but Nancy, I don't like hot things. Well, this Sriracha sauce uses yogurt, mayo. I'm gonna clean up my plate here just so it's so pretty for you. It uses yogurt, mayo, a little lemon juice, some rice vinegar, and Sriracha sauce. So it's gonna give you a lot of pops of flavor without a lot of heat. So here we are. Move this to the side. And I'm gonna grab a fork to stir this up. I think a fork will work the best. So here we are. So here is about a 1/4 cup mayo, a 1/4 cup, and that's the olive oil mayo, and a 1/4 cup Greek yogurt. I've got about a tablespoon of lemon juice. I've got a tablespoon of rice vinegar. And last but not least, I have a couple tablespoons of Sriracha. Now, if you're very, very sensitive to heat, put in 1 tablespoon and then mix it together and taste it. But I think that you're gonna find that 2 tablespoons is the perfect amount for this sauce. And it's so pretty and pink. Oh my gosh, and that Sriracha and lemon juice together smell so good. I'm just gonna stick this over there. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a spoon and I'm gonna drizzle this Sriracha sauce all over everything. It's gonna be so yummy. So here goes the Sriracha sauce on everything. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is put on some sesame seeds. So sesame seeds everywhere. And oh, I love the sesame seeds. They're so pretty. And then I also have some cilantro. So that's our easy to make, easy to enjoy, 3-step, but fast 3 steps. Sriracha salmon with spring veggie noodles that are squash. So as we roll into the summer, these squash noodles are a great accompaniment to anything. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I'm Nancy Waldeck with Taste and Savor, and I love doing recipes for the Piedmont Cancer Wellness Center, the Thomas F. Chapman Family